It is Toy Tuesday. Welcome. Good day to everybody watching from around the world. Yeah, so I know for this stream, I usually have the top down, but you know what I thought? I thought because tomorrow's my birthday, I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna open up some of the stuff that I really want to open up, and some of that stuff is big. It doesn't really work so well with a top-down camera, so I'm gonna do it this way today. So let's do it. Zardoz, that was that was a very appropriate response to the thing that I posted, and I just happened to come across that meme, and I was like, oh, I know the perfect person to share that meme with. You were here waiting for 10 minutes. Well, you were early, but thanks for being here early. So, as usual, I'm gonna do something Star Trek because I love Star Trek ships. So what do I always say when it comes to spaceships and toy lines or model lines or miniature lines? Don't worry about scale. Just don't even bother, right? Because anytime you try to do things, you try to do a line that's in scale, it's going to fail. It's going to fail because you try to make something too big. It's going to fail if you try to make something too small. You can't do it. Don't worry about it. Hey, Ardens, welcome everybody who is coming into the chat. Also, just throwing this out there, there is a new thing above. I had a crazy idea that I've never built one or gotten into any sort of knights in Warhammer 40k, but I thought it might be interesting if the community was interested, if you all were interested, and we did it as a community project to build a crazy knight and decide what weapons to give it and name it and that whole thing. So anyway, it's up there. No, obviously with everything, no pressure. Anyway, that's up there. So yes, scale is silly when it comes to things like spaceships because again, eventually it's just not going to work. There are toy lines where they try to do things in scale, and again, it can last for a little while, but it's not going to do it in the long run. So don't worry about it. So one of the really cool spaceship lines of toys is a line that what do they? It's from Diamond Select Toys, usually abbreviated to DST, and then Art Asylum. You may know Art Asylum. It's how do I explain this? Art Asylum used to be a separate toy company a long time ago, and then it was gobbled up by Diamond. But they still release some things with the Art Asylum name on it. Well, thank you so much, Arsenal Roy 2K. I appreciate that. Look at that. We're already halfway there. I like having projects and things that are not too much, right? I want to keep it keep it doable. But thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I know, like, we're right. Oh, that would be cool if I had like a graphic that filled up from the bottom up, and then it's like, yeah, there are the lights. It is my birthday tomorrow on St. Patrick's Day. Also, Cameron Rice's. So we have these cool electronic ships, and they've changed the name of this line over the years. It used to be, I think it was just like Star Trek Electronic Starships or something like that. Now they're called the Starship Legends. And this line is glacially slow to come out. At times, in the past, the releases came more frequently. Nowadays, it's years between new ships coming out. They do a lot of repaints, which again, that's cool, that's fine. For Starship people who are into ships, that's great. Like we love repaints. Because you get things like this. So this is the NX-01 Enterprise from the Enterprise TV show, and this is repainted as the ISS, the mirror universe where the humans are evil, basically. Star Trek sucked you back in. Yeah, I mean, Star Trek there's so much Star Trek content right now. It's a really cool time to be a Star Trek fan. And again, yeah, the Terran Empire, exactly. That's, yeah, these guys down here. So yeah, ISS Enterprise. And again, what I know I harp on this a lot, but especially with all of the toxic people and the toxic fandoms out there, I think this is really important. I think what's going on with Star Trek is kind of like the perfect, yeah, exactly, where everyone has a goatee in the mirror universe. I think what Star Trek is doing is the perfect way to handle a fandom in modern times. Acknowledge that there are different parts of your fandom that like different things, and just do all of it. Do as much different projects as you can. Don't try to make all Star Trek one thing. Let it be diverse. Have something that's silly and goofy, like Lower Decks, at the same time as you're having something that's more serious, and for the older school fans with Picard, and then go off in new directions with things like Discovery and Stranger Worlds, right? And then throw anything at the wall that will stick and make more movies. Sure. Hey Kane, thank you so much. My birthday is tomorrow, St. Patrick's Day, along with Cameron. But yeah, we're starting the celebration early. Right, Airness, except for the super toxic people, they should get nothing. But I do really love that, though, in that we're taking a property, taking a fandom, and we continue to move it forward, continue to add new things. And again, this is hard for a lot of people to understand, but you don't have to like every bit of a fandom, every bit of a property. Even if it's your favorite property, you don't have to love every single second of it. It's okay to make it inclusive and to have things that other people will like that you may not necessarily like. It's okay. Because at the end of the day, if a property is doing well, you're going to get more of the stuff that you want in one way or another. So let it do well. Even if there are parts of it that you don't love, but other people do, that's okay. So anyway, digression. So we get ships like this. They typically have lights and sounds. These are old and no longer work. They're usually pressed down on the bridge, and things happen. They also come with these really big bases, typically. So this is this is the first Enterprise E they made. And this was actually a friend of mine's, and he rigged it so that you could hang it up, because it gets really difficult when you have very large toys to display. So he was going to hang his from the ceiling, but then he gave it to me. There is a subsequent Enterprise E. This one is not super well detailed, and between the movies, the Enterprise E did change, so they made an updated version. I do have it. It's just behind something. Yeah, it's cool. I've never actually done that. I've never actually hung ships from the ceiling. I don't know. I have a weird thing about that. It seems cool. I've seen some actually really cool displays where it's like really complicated with how high they are and things interacting. So I don't know. Maybe one day. Yeah, Parjai, I love that you stuck with it. That you didn't like it, but you gave it a shot. And that's great. I don't like the first couple episodes of Discovery, but once they're actually on the ship, from then on, I really like that show. I am super excited for Stranger Worlds. I think Anson Mount as Captain Pike is one of the best castings in Star Trek's history. I'm very, very excited. Yeah, exactly. And so, like, what my friend did was he had it angled so it would be, so a little bit more of a dynamic thing than just flat, which is cool. Again, similar thing. Oh no, this one had buttons back here. Oh, and apparently it still works. Oh, the lights do work a little bit too. You can see them. I don't know if you can see, but anyway. Oh. There, you can see a little bit in there. Anyway, lights, sounds, stuff like that. Yeah, and in my scale of what current Star Trek projects I like, don't really like Lower Decks. It's fine. Picard was okay. I didn't love Picard, but I do really like Enterprise. So, the thing that I'm very much looking forward to opening, which I've had in my closet for a while now, is this, which again, a little bit too big to open with the top down. Yeah, I could. So, the longest anyway. I was gonna say the biggest, but the Enterprise D, which I do have, I can't really get to it right now. That's a big ship. So anyway, so this is the longest one. Zardoz, you go ahead. You do you, buddy. Keep busy. Do all your things. Yeah, setting up spaceships and displaying these things can be quite tricky. Yeah, so this is the modern packaging for the Starship Legends. So you see here over here. So you see the Art Asylum logo, which again, it's like a sub brand of Diamond Select Toys. It's not its own. It hasn't been its own company for a very long time. Thank you, MX8 Ghost. Appreciate that. Packaging on this is great. You get a nice big old window so you can see everything through it. They give you a decent amount of, maybe like a bio on the back, some statistical information. It actually tells you, it gives you a list of all the things that it says in case you're not sure when you hear it and you're like, wait, what did he say? Let's see, I'll read. It has 3 AAA batteries. The USS Excelsior was the first in a new class of Federation starship, larger than the existing Constitution class. It was originally intended to possess trans-warp drive, making it capable of greater speed than any other Federation vessel, but the Great Experiment ultimately failed after a series of trials under its first commander, Captain Stiles. Refitted with standard warp engines, the Excelsior went into service in 2290 under the command of Captain Hikaru Sulu, formerly of the Enterprise. Following the ship's initial 3-year scientific mission, the Excelsior was involved in the battle at Khitomer against an experimental new Klingon bird of prey. With the new design deemed a success, new ships in this class were greenlit, including the new Enterprise B, and the Excelsior class soon became one of the most widely used designs in Starfleet, remaining in service for nearly a century. And this is the model, the actual studio model for this ship is really interesting because they built it way back for what was it, for Wrath of Khan when we first see it? Was it in that one, or is that no when did we first see it? In Star Trek 3? Shoot, why can't I remember this? Ugh. Anyway, and then they would reuse that model so many times. And again, like slightly kit bashing it, obviously giving it new registries, but it would show up a lot in Next Generation whenever they needed a back Star Trek 3. Okay, yeah, I was gonna say that makes sense when they were getting away, when they took the Enterprise to go and find Spock. Cool, got it. Thank you. Yeah, so in Next Generation, they didn't have a ton of money to make new ships, so they used the studio model of the Excelsior, and it appears a lot. Which means, so again, this is a case of real world economics, because we can't build new studio ships all the time, influencing the in-universe history of this class of starship. So because then, technically, this one, because they couldn't make new ships and they had to reuse the same model, this class of ship in-universe had a lifespan way longer than most other ships. And we see it operating in Deep Space Nine during the Dominion War and all sorts of other cool stuff. You technically have the Star Trek 6 version. Right, yes. Yeah, and it's a good point, and this one does have the Sulu voice chip, which I'll play in just a second. But no, you're absolutely right, and that was a cool thing with the micro machines, because I have a little dusty. So of course I have the micro machines Excelsior, and one of the neat things they did here is that. So that is the NCC 2000, which again is this one. And there was a variant that has printed the NX 2000, and it took me. I mean, I wasn't actively looking for it, but I finally got the NX version about 20 years after I got the original ones. So these have a bunch of twist ties. And then as that background thing talked about, the frame would be used for other ships, including the Enterprise B, although that's the refit of the Excelsior class, which does look a little bit different. Okay. I think that's all the twist ties. So we have a base to assemble. The bottom of the base is the Starfleet symbol that we see in the movies, and in theory this will slot in. There we go. I could glue it, but that should stay. It has a ball joint at the top. I don't like these kinds of ball joints because they tend to stick over time and they can crack. We'll see how well this one does. Oh, I should say, I don't want to. So I had this thought last week actually, and I don't want to steal Jessica's thunder. But the both of us, Jessica and I, are approaching 1,000 followers on Twitch. Now, of course, followers on Twitch, it doesn't really mean a lot once you get past the initial amount you need to get affiliate. But it is, it is noteworthy. Bono, I'm not going to say it's a race, but like I said, even before. So Jessica did a stream the other day talking about how she's trying to get to 1,000, and like I said, even before that, I had been thinking that when I get to 1,000, that I'll do something special. I'll probably do like a big giveaway. I haven't done a giveaway in a while, but I don't want to turn it into a competition, because that wasn't my intention. But yeah, so. You heard it first. When I get to 1,000, because I'm sure it'll happen eventually, I'll do a big giveaway of some cool stuff. So here's the ship, and I'm just getting a good look at it. It looks great. As I've said before, the Excelsior is definitely in my top 5, probably top 3 of my all-time favorite spaceship designs. It's just, I don't know, it just really speaks to me. It's elegant. I love how it takes the original Enterprise design and it stretches it out. I like the length, gives it more of a, I don't know, graceful appearance. Cool. All right, let's see what it does. It does nothing because the batteries are dead. That's fine. I can put new batteries in it. Play. Try. New batteries. Okay. We'll get new batteries. I mean, Bondo, she could catch up. I am a few followers ahead of her. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah. Now, lots has been said about the the overall design aesthetic of Star Trek ships. I just watched actually a pretty good video about it, and there's people argue, okay, like which which rules did Roddenberry set down? Which rules came from like the designers, like Probert and Andrew Probert, I think it was. But typically, the rules are you need nacelles, so engines that are, these long engine things. You need an even number of them. Now, every single one of these rules has been broken at least one time in Star Trek. But you need an even number of nacelles. They need to be essentially like parallel across the ship, so you don't want to have one that's mounted forward. Yeah, I mean that's kind of that doesn't come up very much, but again, there are ships that break that. They need to be visible from the front, which this one barely does, because again, there's an idea that the fronts of the nacelles actually collect particles as it's traveling. It doesn't really look like it with these style of nacelles, but it's more apparent with ones like this, where it actually has like different colors. So it's called the Bussard collectors. I don't know. It's science gobbledygook, but yeah. So they collect things as you travel. There is supposed to be empty space in between the nacelles, so they can interact with each other to create the warp field and the warp bubble. Again, all of these rules. Good job, Aridance. It's Bussard with S's, but you got it. And again, even some of my favorite ship designs disobey those rules. Like the Defiant follows most of those, but there's no space in between the nacelles because they're attached to the side of the ship. And then obviously there are things like a circular primary hull, some sort of a secondary hull, and attach things to it. Again, typically the nacelles are mounted above the ship, but that gets, Reliant and other ships have it below, so those don't as much matter. Yeah. So again, compared to the Constitution class ship, this one is much longer and proportionally much longer nacelles, which I think is a cool look. So here's a nitpick that I have. And it only came up recently because there's... Yeah, no, expand ships are cool, especially the Martian ships. I like those designs a lot. So there are new Star Trek Attack Wing products coming out. I may be reviewing some of them in the coming weeks. Who knows? But there's a local game store that's near where WizKids is located, and they have a YouTube channel, and they get some of the new stuff to look at because they're friends with people at WizKids. That's great. That's totally cool. The guy who makes the videos, he's very enthusiastic, loves Star Trek, loves the game. Awesome. He does one thing that is like nails on a chalkboard for me. So the original Enterprise is a Constitution class ship. Now, Constitution, 4 syllables. It's a big word, I guess. It's not so bad. There's a certain faction of Star Trek fans that have a nickname for the Constitution class, and they call it the Connie. For some reason, that drives me crazy. It's like nails being driven into my skull. And so this guy on his YouTube videos, he's constantly referring to Connie stuff. It's like, oh, this is a... Yeah, oh man, I hate it. I hate it. And again, that's not just this guy. Like I've heard this in other places. It's a thing. Yeah, I really don't like it. So standard things, we've got the bridge up here. Oh, that's another one of the quote unquote rules for Starfleet ships, is it's supposed to have a very exposed bridge. And theoretically the idea is that if all the power went out, you could still see out the windows, but you'd be in real deep shit if that happened anyway. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. Star Trek ships do have two different propulsion systems. Obviously the one that's most famous and the one that's most visible are the nacelles for the warp drive, but that's for faster than light travel. When you're going a little bit slower, which you need to do from time to time, these usually on the back of the main hull are the impulse engines. So that's those, and yeah. So this is the Excelsior under the command of Captain Sulu, which we would be able to play, but the batteries have gone dead in the package. I'll replace them eventually. This one has a big old sensor thing on the bottom. Later ships will add additional craft. This one does not have it sculpted in. But later ships, they will add, this idea that there's like a captain's yacht or a sort of a supplementary ship that can pop off the bottom. The deflector dish, which again it's visible on most Starfleet ships, but not all of them. But it's forward facing. It's usually some sort of a dish, and it's the idea that it pushes things out of the way or detects things. Honestly, the deflector dish is one of the things in Star Trek that it's one of those like magic things. Whatever you needed to do this episode, it will do. Yeah, Raintree, that's true. Anything you want, someone's already made an STL for it, and you can print it. Obviously, we've got the nacelles on the secondary drive, or on the secondary hull section, and then you can't see a lot of the weapon stuff in this era. They didn't have like really obvious phaser ships, but if you look on the back, on the bottom, there are torpedo launchers down here underneath, which is pretty cool. And in theory, it should fit on the stand. It's loud. So yeah, there we go. Right, generally, yeah. And again, the Defiant breaks a lot of the design rules, and for that reason exactly, that it was designed very specifically to be a tiny warship, not a vessel of discovery and science and exploration and communication with alien species, like most other ships. So yeah, cool. I'll change the batteries at some point so we can hear Sulu talk to us and light up those cells. And then I do have the Enterprise B refit version of this ship. So, and it's also, this big. I'll open that on some future episode. But cool. Yeah, I'm really happy with this. I love it. I wasn't able to pull them all out for today, but I have a million Excelsior toys in every size and scale, smaller than this one. But from the old Micro Machines to Star Trek Attack Wing to more like one-off things that do them in different colors. So this one, interestingly, has a much darker blue, especially on the bottom, which is interesting. And again, Star Trek and their shipped colors. We're not gonna get started on the nitty-gritty of those discussions. Did I ever play the deck building game? Is that what the Star Trek game, the card game you're talking about? I played, assuming that's what you're talking about. I played it a couple times. I have it somewhere. I don't know. Oh, the CCG. Oh, no. You're talking about the older one. No, I never did play that one. Never that one. And again, scale can't worry about scale because these are not in scale with each other. The Enterprise E should be much bigger, but it's fine. It doesn't matter. Just give me cool spaceships. I don't care about the scale. I don't know. What are you gonna do? Oh, that's cool. You had a college professor who was a world champion in the Star Trek card game? That's awesome. And thus, you had to learn. Switching gears. And again, nice because we've got the forward-facing camera today. Let's open up a big old My Little Pony toy. So these were the largest of the items that came in the small-scale pony line. And each wave had a different theme. Oh, well, Zardoz, I'm sorry he wasn't an awesome person, but I'm glad the game was fun. Take the good with the bad, I suppose. So in this theme, it was Nightmare Night, which is a cross between the Halloween holiday and then dealing with one of the secondary characters being at sometimes a friendly, if misunderstood, goddess controlling the moon and dreams, and sometimes evil nightmare incarnate. So this says, Twilight Sparkle. She dresses up as a wizard for fun and frights at the Golden Oak Library. Now, of course, we know it's a little bit more than that. They're not going to get into the full lore on the package, but she's not dressed as just any wizard. She's dressed as Star Swirl the Bearded. I mean, come on. Come on. What, are you going to play dumb with us? The most famous pony wizard of all time, who created magic spells that could transcend time and space. Go to other dimensions, in fact. So yeah, the first one of this scale was the Apple Family Farm. I guess it's like the barn from the farm. My Little Pony has more lore in it than most other things. Let's see, what do we got? We've got, oh, it's the most fun kind of packaging, where the ties go through and you got to cut them out under the tape. Ugh. That is such a good idea. I didn't even think of that. I know, right, Arsenal? I didn't even think of My Little Pony Magic the Gathering. That's a no-brainer. Hasbro does it already. It has creatures, magic, powers, evolutions. That's a really good idea. That writes itself. Oh, right, they did one of those, yeah, it was like an exclusive something. That's true. But we need the actual... Okay, so... In general, Warhammer 40k, I don't know if that would be enough to get me into Magic the Gathering. Mainly because, again, it's going to be Ultramarines, it's going to be a bunch of crap. I mean, if they ever got to, like, doing a whole Emperor's Children set, maybe, but that's pretty far down the line. But if they did My Little Pony, that could do it. That could get me in sooner. Wow. So we have the big pieces, but then there are a million little things like these teeny tiny books. It's a book. Need more cut in. There are nine ponies? Is that what you're asking? Oh. It depends on the season. Oh my god, there's so many bits and pieces to this thing. Wow. I'll show you in just a second. Lots of attachments. Come on. Be free, be free. There we go. Remember to always collect your little trash bits, especially if you have small children or pets. All right. So there we have a little bit smaller than that gigantic box maybe makes it appear. But so this is the library where Twilight Sparkle, the main character, where she lives in Ponyville. Of course, decorated for Nightmare Night. Oh, it's pretty much, this toy itself is pretty much standard. They give you a lot of what we would call play value. So when you have your little minifigures, you can set them up, you know, up on the balcony, on this little side one over here. So just a lot of places to put things for your display, which is nice if you're a person who does the whole display thing. We've got an opening front door, mostly. And then on the back, it's not nearly as well detailed, but there are places inside to put people and things. So that's cool. Oh, hold on. I missed some extra plastic. Get out of here, plastic. And then all of... Oh, My Little Pony it does get dark at times. So we have Zecora the zebra, dressed up in costume with spiders in her hair. It's pretty neat. And then Twilight Sparkle, so she's got the big cape, but attached, and then she's got the hat. There we go. And the beard. Come on. There we go. Because yes, she's cosplaying Star Swirl the Bearded, a very important character in the pony lore. And then a bunch of just stuff. So there's a little telescope that you can attach somewhere. Her pet owl, Owlicious, comes with a little stand of his own. There he is. Wait, you don't like ponies with facial hair? A box. And then an open book and a closed book. And they're actually marked with... Oh my god, is that lettering? It's so tiny. It is the My Little Pony symbol on it. They're just dots on the inside of the open book. Yeah, I don't think that's actually words. Although it's, it's so tiny, I'm not entirely sure. So yeah. Books. Cool. I do like these because... Oh, I see what you're saying, Zardos. Yes. I like these the way they did them, especially because they are flat on the back. Because on my display shelf over there, where I have my little pony, my ponies, I can put these in the back and just have these as backdrops behind everything. So they work out particularly well for my display purposes. Yeah. Cool. been a while since I've watched any of My Little Pony stuff. That's the other problem, though, and why they probably won't add My Little Pony to... Stop calling me. Why they probably wouldn't add My Little Pony to Magic the Gathering, only because they're switching over to a new, sort of a new generation of My Little Pony, a new show, and it doesn't have all the continuity and characters and lore that this past one did. Or, I mean, it not necessarily, at least. I don't know exactly how they're doing it. But if they were to do it, it would have been good if they had done it during the Friendship is Magic era. Because, that had so many characters, so much lore and continuity, magic, power levels, evolutions. That would have been the perfect time. All right. What is next? Let's see. Let's look at something from Star Wars. That's true. I mean, and of course they could go back and pull from anything they want. When... Just thinking of... Anytime you post anything about Robotech online... you're going to get some interesting comments and interesting responses. Yeah, I saw the Godzilla Magic the Gathering stuff, and I was tempted to try to track down some of those cards just for the art. I didn't end up doing that, especially when I saw how much some of them cost. I download the images, I use them as backgrounds on my phone. So that's actually, I think I have one on my phone right now. Yeah, I do. So those are great. No, Zardos, it was the other way. I got a couple of responses to my tweet, being like, Harmony Gold, and then one person who I didn't know, but I mean it was mostly a polite conversation, but was saying like the old thing about like, oh, how can you like Robotech anyway, because it's, it steals from the original properties and stuff. And it's like, all right, I mean, look, we're talking about 35 years ago. It was legally licensed. Whether they asked everybody involved if they were okay with it or not, I think it happened. I mean, we can only go back and be mad at so many things. We can certainly be mad at stuff that Harmony Gold has done over the years, but the original creation of Robotech, I don't think Carl Masick was out to screw anybody, and he got the license fair and square and paid for it. So that's a little bit of a weird thing. I know over the years, Kawamori has said some things about like, nobody asked me, I didn't get any royalties. They essentially took my work and did something else with it. But I could have sworn that there was a subsequent interview that he walked some of that back, or they got a better, what was I going to say? A better understanding of what he meant. But I wasn't about to do a deep dive in the internet to find it. Yeah, I mean, again, like Harmony, for as much as I love Robotech, and I love Robotech, there's a lot that's just off screen. Yeah, I mean, Harmony Gold has done a lot of awful shit over the years. What are you gonna do? No company's perfect. When Disney picked up, yeah, exactly, Parjai, and that's basically what I told this person on Twitter, and I think I was polite, but I said basically those things. That number one, it was perfectly legal when Harmony Gold acquired the rights to these animations to redub them and recut them to put them in America. Like they didn't steal them. It was a thing that they did, and they weren't. I don't think they were out to screw anybody. And yeah, Robotech, like it or not, and a lot of people do and a lot of people don't. It was, I believe, and a lot of people do believe, that it was instrumental in introducing the United States to anime. It wasn't the only thing, and would it have happened eventually without Robotech? Sure. But, yeah, I mean, yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's so much history there and so much to talk about. Speaking of companies who aren't necessarily the nicest thing, Disney. I'll let you in on some news. Disney bought Star Wars. Yes, this was a number of years ago. One of the cool things they did when we were gearing up for Force Awakens was they started producing, obviously, tons and tons of toys and merchandise. Less so over the years with the subsequent movies, and more just for collectors, but that's a different story. I know, right? Shocking. Hasbro obviously is the juggernaut of Star Wars toys, makes the majority of them. Of course, there's other companies too. Hello, Emily. Thank you so much. I'm opening some toys that I've been looking forward to for a while to get in the celebration mood for my birthday. Yeah, so again, Hasbro is the main driver of Star Wars toys. Thank you so much, that nerd. I appreciate it. Thank you for the follow. It's a Von Trapp. I appreciate that. Getting closer to that 1,000 followers. But it's not a competition. It's not a race. Obviously, lots of other companies make Star Wars products too. They will license it to anybody who has the cash to pay for that license. But one of the cool things is that Disney started making their own in-house Star Wars products, and they made a line of spaceships that you could only get at Disney stores or at one of their theme parks, and these are actually pretty darn rad. Now, this one came out again years ago with that first movie. Does it give me a year on here? No. But anyway, it came out along with Force Awakens. There was a whole line of these. They had them. They were mostly in this scale. I do have a bigger one that I haven't opened yet, but they had 2015. Thank you. They did also make a couple of them in a larger scale, but they're really neat. They're really well done. Yes, I know that. Yes, Aridinsk. I am aware of that. Hey, Tiny Chris. We're opening up some toys. It's not a competition. Oh my god, why does this not open? There we go. Oh, and it says, Resistance X-Wing Fighter, die-cast vehicle. The modern incarnation of a classic design, the Incom T-70 X-Wing fighter is the signature combat craft of the Resistance forces in their fight against the First Order. And yes, for those of you who don't maybe pay attention to every last technical detail in the science fiction that you watch, the X-Wings in the sequel movies are not the same as they were in the old movies. You get a simple instruction sheet. Oh my goodness, Tiny Chris. Well, I hope you're doing okay. Yeah, they're not T-65s. Yeah, there has been an evolution of X-Wings over the years. So, we have the ship. Now, these are die-cast metal, for the most part. Of course, not all of it. Anything that's... Anything that's... Anything that's too pointy is going to be more plastic and rubberized, so that if you poke it into your eye, it won't do quite as much damage. I'm actually kind of impressed that the actual front of the fuselage, the nose cone, is fully die-cast metal. In the old days especially, you'd have toys where the front of it would be like a soft rubbery tip. No, everything is fine. But yeah, the rest of the main body is metal, which is cool. It has some. It's a safety. Yeah, it's a cost feature. Now again, could you make a toy that is fully metal even for pokey parts? Yes, you can. But if you do that, where's the package? If you do that, you lose out on being able to say. It's on here somewhere. Yeah, because the only safety. Wow. Yeah. Okay. So, like I was saying before, no, it's not. It doesn't. Yeah. Well, exactly with the adult collectors, this box, all it says for safety is not for children under 3 years. So it says that here. There's a note here, and then there's the standard safety symbol of not for babies right there. Now, what does it mean that this toy has it's rated safe down to 3 years old? That is a ton of money they had to pay for safety testing and for those marks to be on their product. Like a ungodly amount of money to be able to say that. That's crazy. Because again, when it comes to safety testing, for basically for every year younger than 14, often like 14 is like the adult collectible. 14 is for some reason the Disney money. So for every year lower than 14, for what I've heard, it practically doubles the cost of having to go through all those safety measures. It's crazy. So yeah, the fact that this is rated essentially down to 4 years old, that's a lot. It's the toy looks really good. It has a lot of details. You can see a little tiny BB unit. This is just a generic Resistance X-wing, so that's not technically BB-8. Although, of course, play how you want. It has a couple of features. It has an opening cockpit. This one is jammed shut, but that's okay. I don't need to open it anyway. But it does have opening and closing S-foils, which is always nice on an X-wing toy. They don't all move, so it's good when you get one that does. So the difference is, if you care, between the T-70 X-wing and the T-65 are the engines. These have these split engines that go together when they open, and then also on the wings, you can see when it opens that, like the flat plane of the wing, it actually is split between the top and the bottom, if that makes sense. And then a couple other little tiny stylistic bits around, but those are the main thing. And obviously that it mounts a BB droid instead of a standard R2 unit astromech. But yeah, it's nice and weighty. Details are pretty good. Could use a little bit more wash, especially over like the parts on the back. Can I get a focus? There we go. So there's a kind of plan. Right, there are other droid versions that you can similarly size. Now it does come with these little itty bitty landing gear posts. Oh, I see. Okay, they're very small indentations. So there's one up here, and then the other ones are down here on the wings, so you can plug in the X-wing. But in theory, these should plug in. These are just plastic. This does remind me a lot of the Hot Wheels Starships. Just a little bit bigger, a little bit more function to them. Alright, so, and now we have landing gear. Landing gear is... I like landing gear on toys when it's removable or it folds into the toy seamlessly. I hate it when you get a toy that has the landing gear built in and you can't do anything with it, because yes, I display my toys. Obviously, I need a way to set them down. So landing gear, is functional. It's good to have it. But I like to fly my spaceships around. And if it's attached, if it's integrated into the thing, I I can't fly around a ship with landing gear on it. But if it's removable, then I'm good. Yeah. Oh my god, 80s Transformers toys have spoiled us for so many different reasons. Those were the best, pretty much the best toys ever. But yes, removable landing gear makes me happy. I've got... I'm trying to think of how many of these I actually have. I do have Kylo Ren's shuttle that I haven't opened yet, and again, that one I have in the... It's big. It's about this tall. This tall. So I'm looking forward to opening that one. But they made a whole bunch of these in... Oh my god. Oh, Mask. Why has Mask not come back in any real form? Yeah, they're comics. And it was... Have we heard anything from Hasbro about this shared universe movie continuity with G.I. Joe, Mask, Micronauts, and whatever garbage? Are those actually coming out? What's going on with those? If you're not familiar with Mask, it was in the 80s. It was a cartoon and a toy line of mainly, yeah, it was transforming vehicles with minifigures. Excuse me. Hold on one second. Sadly, I don't have any of the vehicles, but there were these minifigures, and the gimmick was that they had these masks. I mean, they're really helmets, and then each one, when you put on a mask, it gave you some sort of power or ability. Turn invisible, shoot blasts out, something like that. And yeah, the toys though were so cool. Again, scaled to about this size. Thank you so much, Emily. Scaled to about this size, and they came anywhere from... There was a little motorcycle that turned into a little helicopter, a bunch of cars, and larger and larger vehicles. But they were really, really cool. Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, that nerd. You know, I was just thinking about... No, Ruiner, don't you put that on us. Don't put that out into the world. I was just thinking about how... Because Hasbro has been mashing a bunch of different properties into Transformers, especially over the last few years. I mean, they've done it before, but most recently it's been... You know, they did Transformers version of designs from Ghostbusters, the DeLorean from Back to the Future. They did as a Comic-Con exclusive last year, even though Comic-Con didn't actually happen, but they did a Tomcat that sort of turns into a robotic version of Maverick from Top Gun. So they're doing a bunch of this wacky stuff, but Kit would be really good. Yeah, and it could turn... I mean, I suppose it would be silly, but it could turn into Michael, like a robotic Michael Knight somehow. That would be interesting. But yes, I don't know. No, don't. Zack Snyder's going to be busy enough with whatever the fallout is going to be from from Justice League. He doesn't need to work on Kit. Yeah, Kit would be great. Right. Car. Or Hasselhoff that turns... Yeah. That should definitely be a thing. Yeah, man. Oh, I was a big fan of Knight Rider. I've shown that it's another Comic-Con exclusive. But that Knight Rider toy I have in the opening case that talks. So good. So good. David Hasselhoff has gone through some. He's gone through some rough times, but we celebrate him. We hope he's doing well now. Ooh. Well, I mean, yeah, of course. If we're gonna have a transforming kit, it's got to be compatible with the larger Transformers universe of toys and characters. Ooh, Airwolf. Yep. Yep. Yeah, Airwolf is another one that Knight Rider, they have attempted to reboot it over the years. Several times, in fact. Several times. There were other Knight Rider TV shows. There was Team Knight Rider. Yep, that was a thing. And then there was a much more recent modern Knight Rider that had Val Kilmer as the voice of Kit, which was interesting. Obviously, he couldn't do it now, but at the time, and it wasn't completely terrible from what I remember. Although I might not be remembering it quite right. A-Team Van, oh for sure, yeah, the reboots. Did I ever watch Mantis or Viper? I'm just enough to know what they were. I never really watched much of those. Airwolf didn't have an AI, just Ernest Borgnine. Oh, what if that's because again we have to figure out what the robot is going to be a version of. But yes, what if it was the Airwolf helicopter that turned into a robot Ernest Borgnine? That would be amazing. Yeah, exactly. Ford Parjai. Ford was very much behind those Knight Rider reboots. Fun fact: some of you know this, but when it comes to Airwolf, I was in not one, but I was in 2 episodes of Airwolf. I don't know which. I don't know the titles. If I watch them, I might remember. Like, oh, that's the scene I was in. But I was in a scene in a really big open park where there are just kids in the background, and then I was one where they're at a school, and I remember kids rolling down a hill. But that's as much as I remember. It was a while ago. I have I was a child actor. I have Jan Michael Vincent's autograph in a book of autographs I have from those times. Arsenal. Like I said, I don't even know which episodes they were. I'd have to go back and watch through to find them. I don't still get the royalty checks, but they were good checks when I got them when I was little. Yeah, it was pretty exciting when I was. It was a fun thing to do when I was little. Yeah. I did a lot of daytime TV. So I was in like every mid 80s soap opera. Falcon Crest. I was in that one a couple times. And again, just like background kid stuff. But yeah. Arsenal, if you're familiar with Airwolf enough to remember what episode had those things in it, I can rewatch them and try to figure out where I am. Yeah, Tiny Chris, my situation was good. There was I know, right? For it's not a lot of people these days who remember Falcon Crest. Yeah, I had really good experiences doing that stuff. I did it for a couple years. Like I said, mostly TV. I was in a couple of shots for movies. One of them got cut, but the other one was in the movie barely. I did a bunch of commercials. I was in a couple of McDonald's commercials. My mom would take me, and it would be a day of just doing silly stuff. Yeah, it was good. And then it just got to be we were just too busy with school stuff and my brother, and then we stopped. But yeah, it was cool. Yeah, I don't remember much of the actual content of the Airwolf episodes at all. I was thinking of going back and trying to rewatch. I'm a little nervous that the show is going to be terrible anytime it's not like just helicopter action. I don't know. Maybe I'll rewatch it at some point and then be able to see. Yeah, it was a Hollywood time. I did, like I said, I did get to meet some really cool people. I can dig out. I know that nerd. It's so much of what we recall fondly is actually no good. Yeah. Mostly helicopter action. Nick Fury yelling at the main cast in a sad cello. That's fair. Oh yeah, I mean all of the gimmicky stuff and like yeah, how do we get a helicopter involved in this? Yeah. I can bring it out again one of these days, but I have, like I said, I have this autograph book that I would carry around when I went to do all these things, and there's some pretty crazy names in there. Oh, that's cool. You've got all season. Oh, Parjai, that's awesome. Yeah, there's got to be something to get the helicopter going. That's great. Let me see if I can find. Give me 1 second here. Oh yeah, so the best thing that came out of my Hollywood career. Oh, that's way too big. Hold on. So yeah, the best thing that came out of my Hollywood career is my headshots. Somehow that turned into this. I was a very cute little kid. That was the money maker right there. So yeah. Right? And no, I don't have those toys still that are in those pictures. I wish I did. I wish I did. But yeah. And no, I couldn't tell you why my hair looked like that. I don't know. Couldn't tell you. But would I act now? No. No. I don't have that in me. I mean, the acting I do is on streams and stuff. Yeah, that's true. Hair was a mess in the 80s. The stuff I do on streams is good, but I don't think I have it in me to do any more acting than that. I did wish I continued with it maybe a little bit more, but yeah, I look back on it fondly. It was, yeah, I mean, I act on like I said, I act on streams, and that's good enough for me. Cool. Well, I should probably wrap it up. Got some stuff going on today. Oh, that's probably what that phone call was that I ignored. I gotta go do like adult life things today. Thanks everybody for hanging out. This was a super fun Toy Tuesday that just turned into a talk about all sorts of things, which many of the best streams do. Tell your friends to, if they don't already follow me, to come and follow me. I gotta hit that 1,000 before Jessica. Do I have any plans tomorrow? Not really. I'll be here streaming my usual stream, and but speaking of Jessica, we will be here. Well, there today. I did the other day. So, like I said, I had been thinking about when I get to 1,000 followers, I'm gonna do a giveaway, just for fun, whatever. And the other day, like, I looked and I had lost some followers, and like, that's totally fine. It doesn't bother me in the least. But Twitch, it's such an easy thing on Twitch to follow people, and then like you just never click on their thing again. But to actually go and unfollow somebody, like that takes effort. That either somebody deleted an account, or they were really upset with me for some reason. Because it's not like on other things where, you know, if you follow somebody, you're gonna see their stuff. I was just kind of curious. Right, I know. Like you really have to put forth effort to unfollow somebody on Twitch. But all right. But yes, thank you for the new follower. It's a Von Trapp today. I appreciate it. One closer to that 1,000 goal. Yeah, that's true. They might have been clearing stuff out. But like I said, no harm, no foul. Totally, it's all good. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. No, Darrow. Like I said, Darrow. No, I'm not worried about it. I just thought it was kind of funny. So yes, today 5 p.m. Pacific, over on the Jessica Nerdy channel, we will be doing Doomsday. We are so close to the end of the book. It's very exciting. Also, whoever, if any of you are there, hopefully all of you, but if any of you do come to that stream, try to remind me, because I always forget, but I want to talk to Jessica about setting up a time for our book club, because I do want that to happen. Missed out when it was supposed to happen, so want to get that going again. So there you go. Otherwise, I'll be back here tomorrow morning on my birthday for a Warhammer stream, continue building my demons. And I think that's it. Oh, I should probably see if there's anybody to go and raid. Oh, yeah, I don't think I have anything for the book club one. But that's a good point, Darrow. I should make a command, information for the book club. If you didn't get the book, there's still time. We were supposed to do it a while ago, but there's still time. Yeah, it's Creatures of Light and Darkness by Roger Zelazny. Holy crap, there are a bunch of people online right now. But are any of them good enough to send you find people? Should we check out what Mika's doing? We could do that. There's pooping happening. Thank you so very much for all those birthday wishes. I appreciate it. Yeah, today, or tomorrow rather, I'm going to stream in the morning and then just hang out with family stuff. Okay. Raid is going. Yeah, we're going to see what Mika's up to. That'll kick off in just a second. Oh, cool. Yeah, I missed what was going on Hyper. Okay, cool. So yeah, everybody have a great day. Doomsday later on today, if you're available, and tomorrow I'll be back on my birthday for some Warhammer building. Yes, Warhammer tomorrow for sure. Okay, bye.